You're watching the news right here on CNN News 18. My name is Toya Singh. This is a Monday morning, and on the breaking news show over the next 1 hour, we're going to walk you through all of the country's top stories. Our first story comes in to us from Jammu and Kashmir, where 3.5 years after the union government revoked the special status granted to Jammu and Kashmir amid the deployment of large additional troops, it is discussing a proposal to withdraw the Indian Army completely from the valley hinterland. It is proposed that the CRPF will fill in for the army personnel removed from the valley to meet the challenges of both law and order and counter-terror operations. The army, it's important to note, will continue to have presence on the line of control. Now, the decision comes after multiple rounds of meetings were held by the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. The discussion on withdrawing the army, and in specific, we're talking right now of the Rashtriya Rifles. That conversation is in its advanced stages with the involvement of the Department of Defence. 1.3 lakh army personnel are, as we speak, in Jammu and Kashmir, of which about 40,000 to 45,000 are from the Rashtriya Rifles. They have the mantle of conducting counter-terror operations in Kashmir's hinterlands right now. Let's go over to my colleague Arunima to understand more. Arunima, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on CNN News 18. Arunima, I believe that this is the culmination of talks that have actually been taking place for some years now, but they have reached a hurried pace as we speak. Could you tell us more about what this phasing out could look like?
So we're expecting a decision on this soon. Multiple rounds of meetings have happened. Proposals have come to the table of Union Home Minister. Union Home Secretary has also carried out meetings with the DG level officers, ADG level officers. There are various stakeholders in this. Of course, CRPF, if indeed they are given this responsibility, they are the primary stakeholders. Rashtriya Rifles, if they are withdrawn, so the South Block, where the Ministry of Defence is housed, they are a stakeholder as well. The Intelligence Bureau is their input is quite important to realize, to understand as to what really is the situation there. Jammu and Kashmir Police too. So after taking into account views of all stakeholders and of course the political input that has been coming in, if you have to show normalcy, you also have to make the Kashmir hinterland look like the hinterland in the rest of the country, where you don't really see military personnel moving about, wielding their weapons. So if that is the kind of normalcy you're looking at, then you'll have to withdraw military. And that is what the politicians in the valley have been telling New Delhi. What we are told is that this will be a phased withdrawal. Even if the final decision is taken of withdrawing Rashtriya Rifles, it could begin with withdrawing them from nakas, from checkpoints, and asking CRPF to take over. There are two districts, Ganderbal being the primary one, and that could see some kind of a change in how the paramilitary is deployed, but that would take more time. Right now, if this decision is taken, it will be more to make it obvious to people in the valley that it is paramilitary you see around you and not the military.
Okay, Arunima, do stay with us. I want to go over to Major General A.K. Siwach, who's with us. General, thank you so much for joining us here on CNN News 18. General, right now, counter-terror operations in the Kashmir Valley are carried out by the Indian Army, and they usually have the support of the CRPF and the Jammu and Kashmir Police. General, if I may ask, is the eventual goal in a few years that such counter-terror operations be handled solely by the Jammu and Kashmir Police, or is that not currently on the horizon?
The point is, as far as the present situation in Kashmir Valley is concerned, it is fast returning to normalcy. There are about 100 terrorists which are left, and leadership of Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen completely wiped off. There is a vibrant democracy which is there. So as on today, the Rashtriya Rifle is being used for counter-terrorist operation, and CRPF and police are supporting it. Whether it is Kilo Force or it is a Victor Force in the valley floor. But there is no doubt about it, as the situation is fast returning to normalcy. So will be a good idea to now slowly and steadily hand over this responsibility of a counter-terrorism operation and counter-militant operation to the CRPF and police. But it has to be done in a phased manner. Now, very correctly, the road opening can be initially done by the CRPF and police, and thereafter the area where the militancy is completely gone, especially North Kashmir, can be handed over to CRPF, and then the South Kashmir. I suppose this is the correct step, because after all, India is a democratic country. We want to show to the world that the absolutely normalcy is existing in Jammu and Kashmir. So we cannot take a chance of deploying almost two force there in Kashmir Valley, both Kilo Force and Victor Force. I suppose it's a great, correct move. And let me tell you, the CRPF and Jammu and Kashmir police are competent and geared up. They have wherewithal. They are capable of doing counter-terrorist operation. And as the situation keep on further improving, I suppose the Rashtriya Rifles should go back to the barracks, and the CRPF and the Jammu and Kashmir police to take over.
Okay, but General, I do want to ask you, over the last few months, Jammu and Kashmir has also seen a slew of killings, particularly for the Kashmiri Pandit community and the communities of migrants that come from across India to work in Jammu and Kashmir. Sir, those killings, of which there have been a number, I'll provide our audiences with data in just a second, do they render such optimism in your heart when it comes to this plan?
Absolutely, guys. See, there is no doubt about it. You have to take into consideration all these factors, because
Right.
this is a hybrid warfare which has been launched by the Pakistan to have a target killing. So these are the people who are OGWs, especially also sleeper cell, which got activated by Pakistan ISI. I'm sure that can be also handled by the CRPF. After all, the CRPF is taking control of Srinagar. So majority of operations do take place there. But we should not bind ourselves. Of course, there is a hybrid warfare. But all this process must be in a phased manner. It cannot be done tomorrow. I suppose it may take another 3 to 4 years, but it must be done in a phased manner. As and where the situation is improving, you hand over that area to the paramilitary, the CRPF and Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir police, and see the impact of that. And slowly increase it. Remember, I can tell you one thing, since I have got a tremendous experience of 25 years of staying in Kashmir Valley, commanded a brigade on a line of control at Machar. I can only say what situation happened now in South Kashmir. Once upon a time, it was an area which was very peaceful. And we made a mistake of moving a lot of troops from South Kashmir to North Kashmir. And that is where again militancy started. So we have to be careful. We have to be vigilant. Right. We must understand what are the inputs. But this is a good idea to start with. And start with slowly, steadily. First, take a decision, consolidate, and then further move. Even in case we realize it is not possible, then we are there where we are. So the point is, today we are sending a very correct message when G20 presidency is there with us, that Kashmir Valley is totally normal and peace is prevailing and development is taking
General
place.
Siwach, just stay with us for a second. I just want to share some data with our audiences, and then we'll come back to you with more questions. So we were talking right now of a slew of killings that took place last year in Jammu and Kashmir. Where the numbers stand right now